Doom is eternal. Unless it's on a digital store, then Doom is available as long as Bethesda wants it to be available. As gaming moves increasingly into an all-digital future, it's inevitable that some older titles will disappear from sale, digital stores closing down, license fees not getting renewed, or developers simply wanting to streamline offerings and release newer versions of their games, usually at a nice higher price. Now that we're several generations into digital storefronts, I thought it would be fun to look back at the digital versions of Doom which you can no longer purchase. Whether that be a good or bad thing is entirely up to you. But let's start this off with a special mention. I'll be upfront, I've never actually played these games. Mobile phone games were never truly my jam, and these games skipped by my radar around the time of their release, and that may have been a mistake on my part. Released in 2005 and 2010, people who played these games hold them up as really great experiences. Not true Doom experiences, but instead spin-offs which create their own narratives and experiences using the Doom world that we know and love. Given how highly these games are spoken about, it's a shame that no official effort has been made to bring these games to modern platforms, or even modern mobile phones. There are fan source ports which bring the experiences to PC, if you're curious to try them. As for myself, it's very likely that I'm going to be covering these on the channel in the near future because they do look really interesting and add a lot to the world of Doom, even if it's not a true Doom experience. It's definitely something that I want to experience, and I wish there was an official way to do it. Released in 2006 and 2010 to Microsoft's Xbox Live Arcade, these are two digital versions of Doom that you simply can't get your hands on in the modern times. These were the first official high-definition versions of Doom to land on consoles. The release of Doom 2 also brought us Nerve Software's developed No Rest for the Living, which in my opinion is the best official Doom expansion. Doom 1 on Xbox Live Arcade was actually unavailable for over a year when the publishing rights for classic Doom expired, and Bethesda republished this edition of the game once it acquired id Software. They're very solid ports and added in a load of features that were huge at the time, including online multiplayer, local co-op, leaderboards, and of course achievements. Both Doom 1 and Doom 2's Xbox Live Arcade versions were pulled down sometime after 2013, but were made backwards compatible with Xbox One and Xbox Series S and X, so if you already own these games, you can experience them on modern consoles. What if you want to buy them though? Well, unfortunately there's no way to buy these digital versions. They were never released physically, and unfortunately there's no codes for you to go and buy from secondhand sites. The best way to experience what these versions were like is to actually buy the Doom Free BFG edition. This has feature cut versions of the Xbox Live Arcade editions of Doom 1 and Doom 2. There's no online aspects to these versions of the game, so that means no leaderboards and no online cooperative or death matches. I'd also argue that the BFG edition of these games are probably one of the worst ways you can experience them. These versions are buggy, lack customization options, have weird audio issues, lack online modes, and are generally held in poor regard by the wider classic Doom community. But if you want to experience what the Xbox Live Arcade versions of these games were mostly like, this is probably the closest way you can get to it on an Xbox 360 these days. For the longest part of PlayStation 3's existence, it didn't have any classic Doom games to its name, yet in 2012, Bethesda released the Doom Classic Collection, a package that brought Ultimate Doom, Doom 2, No Rest for the Living, the Master Levels, and both parts of Final Doom to PlayStation 3. Yes, for the first time since PlayStation 1, Final Doom was released at retail onto consoles, making it weirdly exclusive to PlayStation consoles in this aspect. It also means PlayStation 3 was the first console to have the complete retail release library of classic Doom games, which is quite an achievement. To add to the intrigue, it also came packed with multiplayer, leaderboards, and the good stuff that made the Xbox Live versions of these games so much fun. Doom Classic Collection also released onto PC, but it lacked some of the games that came with the PlayStation 3 version, making the PS3 the ideal way to experience this collection. So can you still buy it? This version was only available via the PSN store for $14.99 and was delisted on July 26, 2019. Interestingly, the same day that the Unity port released. Much like with Xbox Live Arcade Doom, it seems that there weren't any digital codes released for this game. so that means that you can't buy it now that it's been delisted from the PSN store. It's unfortunate because this was arguably the most feature-complete console Doom experience up to this point. It didn't get released onto Xbox 360 nor any of the Nintendo consoles at this time, and it skipped by a lot of people because it released so late into the PlayStation 3's lifespan. If you're willing to hunt down a copy of BFG Edition on PlayStation 3, you can still get your classic Doom fix out on Sony's old console at this point. The Unity port of Doom is a hugely interesting version of classic Doom, which I'll be covering a lot more in the future. Nerve Software developed the Unity port for release on Nintendo Switch, PlayStation 4, Xbox One, PC and mobile platforms in 2019. It's safe to say that when these versions of the game landed, they were a half-baked mess. The ports were lambasted and widely ridiculed. It took a long while for the games to receive updates that actually made them worth experiencing. But in their fixed form, the Unity ports were a very solid way to play classic Doom. They didn't have online matchmaking, but they did feature local multiplayer, and updates brought a selection of custom WODs to console players, the first time this had officially been achieved. These were also the versions of classic Doom that were made available via Xbox Game Pass, so a lot of people probably experienced Doom for the first time through these versions, and for the longest time it looked like these would be the port that would be carried forward to future consoles, until August 2024. Bethesda announced the Doom 1 plus Doom 2 bundles at QuakeCon 2024, and it immediately superseded the Unity ports of Doom. The Unity port was quietly retired and pulled from digital stores over the next few days, dying quietly in the corner and being forgotten about by basically everybody. So the question here is, can you still get your hands on these versions? The answer is yes, if you really want to. If you bought the games on Steam Store, the game should be accessible via some reverting of files. GOG still offers the old installer files if you have them purchased on there. These versions are no longer purchasable via these digital storefronts though, so if you didn't grab them when they were out, that's kinda bad luck. Likewise, over on Xbox, if you purchase these games via the Xbox Marketplace, you can still download them through your game library. In fact, I was actually able to purchase Doom 1 and Doom 2 via Amazon. The codes are still available there to purchase, and they were sent to my email as I was making this video, so that very much works. Unfortunately, they are no longer available on Game Pass. I guess the big question coming out of this video is, does it matter if you can't play any of these versions of classic Doom? For most people, it's going to be a no. A lot of people don't care much for the history of Doom and for the journey it took to get to where it is, and that's perfectly fine, but I'm a big fan of video game preservation, and I think it's a shame that parts of Doom's storied history are already gated off permanently to people who might want to go back and experience those one day. From a business perspective, I get why it's a big deal to streamline and get classic Doom into the hands of gamers in the easiest package possible, but I guess I have a fondness for some of the classic Doom editions of yesteryear, and having gone back and discovered classic versions of Doom on my own, and being able to go out and physically buy those, I think it's a real shame that future gamers probably won't be able to do the same thing with this past era of classic Doom, because so much of it just will not be available for them to purchase. But let me know what you thought of these versions of classic Doom. Did you play them when they released, and do you still have access to them yourself? Let me know in the comments, and thank you so much for watching.